Despite being cut off from the rest of the world, North Korea has a GDP of $28 billion. So where do they get their money? Crime. A large portion of it is due to crime. Let us investigate. If North Korea is famous for anything right now, it's how much money they make from hacking. Every year, there are numerous headlines about terrifying North Korean hacker boogeymen. But what exactly are we discussing here? Be truthful. If I told you there was a hacker organization called the Lazarus Group that was run by a shady government to commit cyber attacks, you'd think I was describing a plot from a James Bond or a Batman film. And unfortunately, this is reality. North Korea has a legitimately terrifying state-sponsored cybercrime organization, known internally as the 414 Liaison Office. That certainly does not sound like something out of a Bond film. They are allegedly recruited at a young age and sent to China to be educated in all things malware in order to return home and act as cybercriminals on behalf of the North Korean government. Remember when Seth Rogen made that movie about taking out Kim Jong-un and hackers broke into Sony's servers? This had to be those guys. The organization appears to be divided into two distinct teams. The blue or off team is primarily responsible for stealing money from websites all over the world. Then there's the Oreo, which is said to be aimed specifically at South Korea. According to the FBI, these guys are everywhere. They recently advised companies against hiring remote IIT workers due to the possibility that they are members of the Lazarus Group. They are well known for carrying out large-scale attacks on websites in the United States and South Korea. The organization was most recently accused of attacking pharmaceutical companies during the COVID-19 pandemic. So, how much cash are we talking about here? Is it even possible to estimate how much a country's illegal hacking group steals each year? And South Korea, on the other hand, tried their hand at it. According to South Korea's spy agency, North Korea has stolen approximately $1.2 billion in the last 5 years. I'm not sure if I should be impressed or horrified. It's terrifying to think that there's a whole new type of warfare taking place solely online. Every year, the United States spends $10.8 billion on cybersecurity. Every year, businesses around the world spend around $150 billion on cybersecurity. Despite this, there is still a lot of cybercrime out there, such as the $1 million crypto heist in January 2023. Oh, and while we're on the subject, don't forget to like and subscribe for more information on the most terrifying hackers and how they steal millions for the most stories.
Yeah, that's dropping this week.
Mint is an example of North Korean cryptocurrency crime. Take a look at the Horizon Bridge. The crypto heist. Horizon Bridge is a feature that allegedly allows crypto holders to move their assets in a secure manner. The Lazarus Group was able to list a fortune of digital currency by hitting Horizon Bridge with a privacy protocol called the Railgun. According to the FBI, they stole more than $100 million. Only a few months ago, the same strategy was used to steal $60 million. So these guys are serious business. Is there anyone who remembers when criminals were just evil drug dealers like Al Pacino and Scarface? So I have a surprise for you. When it comes to the drug trade, North Korea is the Scarface of countries. They are inspired by Pablo Escobar-style cartels that control almost everything. While this is not entirely incorrect, it is far from the whole story. Since the 1970s, North Korea has been running a massive drug smuggling operation. This is a top-to-bottom organization that involves the production, sale, and trafficking of illegal substances. For the majority of North Korea's drug trade history, they've grown fields and fields of opium. That is a much more important drug in China, which is their primary drug market. This is extremely concerning for reasons that have nothing to do with the drug trade's controversy. North Korea has had numerous famines over the years, particularly during the 1990s. Opium was grown on a lot of potentially viable farmland instead of viable food. For some reason, I never encountered that issue while playing Stardew Valley. But anyone who has seen a Breaking Bad episode knows that a new drug hit the market hard because it could be completely manufactured in a laboratory. Sure, of course, I'm referring to methamphetamine in the 1990s. North Korea jumped into this business head first. The majority of China's methamphetamine crisis is now caused by drugs smuggled in from North Korea. Inside the country, the substance's problems are so severe that it's rumored to be used as a legitimate medication for some people. So, how do they get away with it all? This should come as no surprise, but North Korea does so largely under the guise of legitimacy. There are numerous front companies run by the Korean Workers' Party's Foreign Relations Department. These companies smuggle drugs in with other goods and then make a fortune doing so. While researching this, I discovered that they earn between $500 million and $1 billion per year. Everyone is always talking about how North Korea is developing weapons, threatening certain countries with them, and selling weapons. So, is that exaggerated? No. Despite the fact that many countries have barred North Korea from purchasing or selling weapons, it comes as no surprise. However, they continue to buy and sell a large number of weapons. The North Korean military manufactures firearms, ballistic missiles, tanks, and aircraft, among other things. They are well known for getting involved in global conflicts for the purpose of profiting billions of dollars. They sold Iran an estimated $4 billion in weapons during the Iran-Iraq War. They recently received a major lifeline when Russia invaded Ukraine, despite the fact that North Korea has denied selling weapons to Russia. It almost certainly sells arms to Russia. They accomplish all of this through what is possibly the world's most complex arms smuggling ring. Despite all of the sanctions, they are said to bring in billions of dollars. In terms of legal exports, North Korea primarily exports commodities such as textiles, iron ore, and coal to China. North Korea smuggles almost everything else in terms of illegitimate exports. North Korea primarily smuggles counterfeit money. This operation dates back to the 1970s, which appears to be the year North Korea got serious about crime. The country counterfeits primarily to alleviate its own economic problems and to sabotage other countries' economy. Things have gotten so bad that countries like the United States have had to redesign their currency to make it more difficult for North Korea to counterfeit it. You'd be correct if you assumed North Korea had a creepy-sounding organization in charge of keeping this a secret. Rumor 39, according to reports, is the country's slush fund manager. Because of how good they are, they deal with what are known as super dollars. Whatever you want to say about North Korea. However, they do not commit crimes lightly. They also counterfeit many completely legal drugs, such as Viagra, which they then sell illegally in other countries. They also make tens of millions of dollars a year by smuggling counterfeit cigarettes all over the world. They are also involved in the illegal trade of exotic animals. They are specifically involved in the rhino horn and ivory trade, which they obtain from various African countries. While most consider this to be a heinous crime that endangers exotic animals, North Korea considers it to be a simple business due to the low risk of acquiring and moving them for enormous profit. Rhino horn, in particular, is regarded as the holy grail of smuggled goods. Only one is worth about $250 million. Surprisingly, this isn't the most heinous item they smuggle. There's also the extensive human trafficking that North Korea engages in, as well as forced labor camps and other things that I can't really get into without being demonetized. Imagine the most heinous things you can think of. Multiply that by 2 and you'll get close. Despite the fact that everything about North Korea is shocking, nothing surprises me at this point. I wouldn't blink if I found out Kim Jong-un has his own Jurassic Park with living dinosaurs. And that, my curious comrades, is the North Korean wonderful mystery of money-making. If you want more surprises from the Hermit Kingdom or any other bizarre economic enigma around the globe, don't forget to Kim Jong unleash that subscribe button. This is Kathy saying, stay curious, stay crazy, and remember, in the world of money, there's always more than meets the eye banks. Catch you on the flip side.